In my first video on Leo Brouwer's, you already heard all the piece, and I talked about the beginning section and the rhythm in the beginning section. I will now talk about the melody in all the piece, because the melody has to be considered in some way distincted from the rhythm. In the central part, for example, we have a different rhythm where melody is very, very important. So let's dive into it. In the beginning, we have our rhythm, as we said, that strange 4-unit rhythm, which has a 3 and 3/5/8 units. The melody is sung by the bass. Well, actually, we have some kind of 3 voices. The first voice is just a pedal point E with the very first note in the first bar and the first one in the third bar. And these 2 E's are kind of columns to what the melody is. And the melody is in this units. The last E is the ending of the third 5/8 unit and the beginning of the next part as well at the same time. What we have is a melody which is in E minor, because we have E, G and B, which spells E minor. Then the melody goes up to F sharp, and this F sharp is obviously dissonant and resolves. Here, which is the second 5-unit part. This A again gives some harmonic tension, which the C doesn't really resolve, but B, E resolves very well. So our melody spells exactly, harmonically speaking, in the units that we have analyzed when analyzing the rhythm. After this, we have the repetition with just one difference. And if there is only one difference, point it out. And the difference is C sharp. So. Okay. I do that by letting it ring a bit longer. I'm playing slightly more slowly in that part, so the ear of the listener has the time to recognize the difference. That is not still longer C natural, but C sharp. Okay? Or the phrase obviously has to be played in pianissimo. Okay? Rhythm and melody go very well one with another. What we just have to do in phrasing, we should point out the dissonances. So this is louder than its solution, even if the E at the beginning of the next 5/8 part. Well, this is a bit exaggerated just for explication, that the F sharp and the C should be lightly pointed out. In the second part, the F sharp and the C sharp have to be pointed out. C sharp probably is the most important note in that second part. Okay. Then we have the same rhythm that we had in the third section, just with this 5th going down. This gives in some way not a feel of rock music, no, but some kind of Phrygian or Spanish scale feel. Well, Cuba and Spain are very related one to another, at least by the language. This time it's exactly repeated twice in the same way. Now, melodically, we come to a point which is kind of operatic to me, because we have a conversation between the accompaniment and the melody, or let's say the former melody, because the accompaniment, which has always been G and B, which just provided some kind of rhythmic movement, in this point wants to be a singer as well, wants to play melody. I want to go up, let me play high. The bass, anyway, is not of the same opinion. Oh no, don't do that. But I won't sing. I say calm down. Okay, I'll calm down. Okay, well, this is a funny idea of mine, but anyway, it might help. What you have is a conversation between the former accompaniment and the bass. And in the end, the accompaniment goes down and in some way obeys to the bass, who is saying, you won't sing, you're the accompaniment, because in the next part. It's still the bass to sing, and the accompaniment, just lower, continues to be that accompaniment. But not for too long, because it's still living. But not too long. Okay, so in the end, the accompaniment has very few moments of glory, so to say. And what I think is very interesting, we have this C sharp that we pointed out at the beginning, really at the end of this phrase, as we have a C sharp when the accompaniment is getting more courage to sing alone. Here, the C sharp. I have a very funny idea on how I could make a little story out of that piece, but you will see that in another third video. Okay, melody has to be considered together with rhythm, but as well not considering too much the rhythm unit that you have, because accents in melody not only depend on where they are rhythmically, but also what they are harmonically saying. So if we have the F sharp, we have quite a, well, kind of dissonance that has to be resolved. So the dissonance pointed out and the resolution not as much. Then point out that we have the C and the C sharp. And in the point where the accompaniment gets melodic quality, tell the story, make them talk one to another. Okay, this is the melodic part of this study. Give me a thumb up, subscribe to the channel, and watch the third part of the video when I will talk about that crazy story. Bye.